doing, podcast universe?
What?
We are back in the den for another episode of Sports Den Radio. For those who are joining us for the very first time, SDR is a place for fans. You see, we created SDR to provide fans with a proper platform to speak out on real fan issues affecting us every day. What it's like to be a season ticket holder, what drives us mad about the leagues and the teams that we love to cheer for. So we wanted to create a place for fans to engage with other fans, whether it's from a gambling perspective, a fantasy perspective, or simply just the love of your team and the game. Along with our show, we are working on giveaways, memorabilia sales, and exclusive fan opportunities. I'm Arik Gordon, joined by my co-host Sammy Scher. What's up, Sammy?
Episode 2, everyone. Woo, woo.
Oh yeah.
My name is Sammy Scher, and me and my partner Arik Gordon are back at it. And we're going to be joined on the phones by gambling and stat connoisseur, as last time, by Aaron Stiefel, a.k.a. Lastief, episode 2. Here we go. And as always, I do want to give a shout out to the production team, Yoni Frager, and producer Matt.to. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at SportsDenRadio, at SportsDenRadio, and on Facebook and Instagram as well, and subscribe on whatever platform you listen. Feeling great. Here we go. Sitting here in a Raiders hat and this Zlatan Ibra Galaxy jersey. Just a great day. And now let's get into the good stuff.
Ah, yes. The good stuff.
Let's get into it.
The good stuff. Well, today we're featuring Super Bowl bets, our views on the game, and we're going to get a little personal with a 49ers fan. But we're going to start today with Fanter. That's right, when fans, like us, banter about major issues that's going on in sports.
What a great word.
Fanter.
Wow, we definitely got to trademark that already. Fanter, that's so good.
And the Fanter today, well, it's a state of baseball. Major League Baseball. See, a little quick wrap-up. Last few weeks, baseball, a little headlining in the news, even as NFL playoffs are underway. But here we go, another cheating scandal. So we even did an emergency podcast session. We discussed it. Check it out if you haven't. But the state of baseball in a real flux. Isn't it, Sammy?
Oh, it's just terrible. It's the worst. From like an observer of the game and as a fan perspective, it's just terrible. And if you listen to our emergency pod, thanks, we got some good listens on that, so we're glad you guys enjoyed the baseball drama there. And just a quick update, since we recorded, it came out that not only were the Astros players banging on trash cans and things like that, but they also were using electronic buzzers inside their jerseys
to
try to signal what the pitch was going to be. And there's actually a great clip you see, that was like an iconic clip at the time of Jose Altuve coming towards home after a game-winning homer against Aroldis Chapman, and he's holding his jersey, and he told everyone after the game that he wanted to save the jersey. It was a special moment for him and his family, and what is now the popular perception is that he was holding his jersey closed so that no one would rip it and show a buzzer. And since then as well, Carlos Beltran, who was associated with those Astros as well, was the manager of the New York Mets, has also stepped down as well. So that means that Cora, Beltran, and Hinch are all gone. Astros, Red Sox, Mets, all without managers, and we're about to have pitchers and catchers reporting. And the final update is the LA City Council voted to pass a resolution to remove the titles from the Red Sox and the Astros and give them to the Dodgers. We said that on the emergency podcast that we all think that's silly. Like, Dodgers didn't win it, but I'm definitely down for them to lose those championships. And it's just with so much controversy. I mean, it's a great thing for baseball, I guess, because if you want to say no bad press, even bad press is good press, but I don't necessarily think that's the case here. I don't see a quick recovery for baseball after all this nonsense. I mean, there's people who are following this story, but I mean, how are people supposed to trust the game? There's not going to be a quick recovery for baseball after all this.
They've tried it before. I mean, the MLB said they won't rescind the rings. They're not going to rescind them. Astros won, Red Sox won. That's not going to change.
We'll see if the Twitter mob gets loud enough.
But they've tried. They tried in the past. They've tried to mix things up. Listen, right, 94, there was a big strike. What did they do in 95? Introduce the wild card team. All of a sudden, 98 has the home run race.
God, that was so good.
Right?
That saved baseball for a moment. We can't
for a moment.
So we're going to let people juice again, maybe?
Maybe that's what they have to.
But
right after that,
from a fan perspective, why not? I mean, who cares?
It's an interesting topic. We can get into a whole other podcast about that one. But listen, right after that whole PED scandal, right, the steroids era, what happens? It goes down again. So what they do, 2012, the wild card game. Made it exciting. I love it. It brought a football element to it.
Yeah, wild card games, definitely some intriguing stuff.
It brought some good games. It allowed the fan to get a little more engaged. Then in 2015, the home run derby. Took the outs out, brought in the clock. Are they going to try to do it again? They're going to have to. right? Now they're trying to reshape their image for timing, speed. There's less commercial breaks, 20 seconds less, now down to 2 minutes. Pitchers.
So what's the move? What's the move to strike back? Like baseball, the empire of baseball strikes back. What can be done to save the image of the league?
Well, they're going to try to do it next year because they're going to try to present a little bit of a different game. And my guess is they're going to have to repackage it, right? Remarket it. You're going to go into the season talking about these scandals. You're going to go into this just like we did with the steroid era. And it's going to have a little bit of a taint. There's going to be a little bit of a stain on baseball. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to try to ignore it. Oh, pitchers are now required to face a minimum of 3 batters or pitch till the end of the inning. And they're going to probably emphasize these little new changes and nuances that they're going to add to the game. Are we going to see a new type of baseball? I don't know. This might take some time once again for America's pastime.
And one other thought on the Astros. I don't know if you saw, there's a video of Alex Bregman, second baseman for the Astros, pretty much being asked point blank, like, did you cheat? Why'd you cheat? You're a cheetah. Why'd you cheat? And
they said there's going to be a players' press conference.
All they said was that, all they said was, the commissioner handed down his thoughts, and we're gonna no one had ownership. Supposedly, like you just said, there's going to be some type of press conference where the players are going to admit that they did it.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going. So
I mean,
this buzzer thought is currently technically widely accepted hearsay. It's not a thing yet. If the players come out and actually confirm it 100%, then wow.
It can change a lot of things. And listen, now I hear also spring training, they're trying to bring in these robo-umps in the background. MLB just released a stat of 9% of pitches that were wrong last year. So now they're going to try to mix this up with more technology. Is it time for more technology in baseball? I don't know.
More technology and more stoppage and more in every sport.
I don't know. We were just talking about buzzers, and now they want to bring
baseball. Baseball doesn't need to have any more
themselves.
Things to slow the game down. You're right. All those things that are going to speed the game up are definitely making it more watchable for the average fan. But that cannot happen now. It's just going to make it way slower again. But it's really something that and you said that they're not going to that Major League Baseball said they're not going to remove the titles. If the Astros actually do stand up there and say, we are asshats and we did this, how? They would have to possibly reconsider that idea. Maybe.
They released a statement. I don't know if they're going to go back now.
Yeah, again, the Twitter mob. Get out there. Dodger fans.
Let's hear it.
Yankee fans. All fans. Get loud. Get those pitchforks.
And now, it's trivia time.
Trivia time. Trivia
Back.
time. Trivia time.
Our producers every show bring in a new question. Sammy and I battle it out. I'm 0 for 1. Sammy's 1-0.
I don't know if you guys listened to our first episode, triumphant start for this year. That would be 1-0 for me and 0-1 for my esteemed co-host. But it is a new episode and a new chance for redemption. So we're going to bring in, for the first time today, producer Matt. Welcome, producer Matt.
What's going on, Matt?
Can you please read us today's trivia question?
I sure can, guys. Thanks for having me on for time number 2. Just quickly, quick Weird Al Yankovic idea for a song, My Lovely Robo-Umps.
Okay.
So let's go here. The question for today is, what 2 NFL teams played in the 2001 game that would come to be known as Bottlegate, in which fans rained down beer bottles onto the field after a controversial call reversal?
You know what sucks? I definitely remember this specific event.
I remember this too. I think I know one of the teams.
That one's actually, I really thought that I was just coming out and firing into a 2-0 start here, but
I think I know one of the teams, but I'm not sure about the other.
Now the rules are clearly going to establish that I'm allowed just a shot in the dark guess, and if that happens to be correct, I'm sticking with it for sure. Producer Matt, thumbs up. We're live, people.
Love it.
Absolutely outstanding. Let's talk NFL. Let's get into the NFL on that trivia question note.
The Super Bowl is coming.
Super Bowl time. I saw a petition today to move the Super Bowl to Saturday.
Ooh.
Enough.
We play football on Sunday.
Football is for Sundays. Now, before we get into the Super Bowl, very quick football thought. Godspeed, Eli Manning. Without you, our sweet prince, Tom Brady would have 8 Super Bowls in a perfect season. So God bless you,
Yeah.
all you stand for. There are people out there who are going to talk about your 117 and 117 perfect 500 record and try to say that you're not a Hall of Famer.
Nah, he'll be there.
To
5 years.
Yeah, to quote Herman Boone from Remember the Titans, you're a Hall of Famer in my book. Now, as a Raider fan, this is probably the worst matchup you could ask for ever, Chiefs versus Niners. That sounds horrendously terrible.
Yeah, and for those who aren't familiar really about what's being a Raider fan, see, the Chiefs were a divisional rival or just the Raider rival even from the AFL days. And San Francisco, Oakland, they're right next to each other, and let's just say this probably is not the year that Oakland fans needed to see San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
And you know what? They're Bay Area rivals no more. It's official, the Las Vegas Raiders. But let's talk about that championship weekend. As much as we hate the Chiefs and
And this is a great matchup for the NFL, though.
We got pretty much the number one offense.
We are here with our Raider pride, though.
Yeah,
but we will.
That's great. We're both wearing currently a Raider hat that in no way, sort of affiliation says the word Oakland on it. So our current memorabilia is making it through to the next era. Hallelujah.
Let's go, baby.
So,
LFG.
Let's start with the Niners. So all season, every time they did something dope and had such a great win and blew someone out, I was like, yeah, I don't really believe. And then I started believing, and now I have no choice but to believe. They're just so freaking good. That defense is so fast and strong. And
what a pick with Nick Bosa.
Dude, so unfair.
What a pick, right?
Yeah.
Real easy botch that.
They're just so fast at all levels. And you know what's crazy is they're doing it, they're the ones who paid the quarterback. They gave him the 5-year, $137.5 million deal. They're the ones who actually, they have the top tier quarterback, and they're still making it happen. It's not some team having their quarterback on the rookie deal. If they're doing it with Garoppolo now, before they got to pay all these young rookies, they definitely have a small window to run a couple of these down in the NFC. For sure.
This could be a little bit of a similar feel of the Seahawks when they kind of had those 3 years, the Legion of Boom. The Niners look like they're just starting.
Yeah, the defense calling themselves the Hot Boys, which kind of pisses off DeMarcus Lawrence because he's the original Hot Boy.
And Jimmy G. I know a coach who would want Jimmy G right now.
Is he in Boston?
Oh, maybe.
Follow-up thought, Chiefs. So, assuming that the glorious Patriot era is mostly over, are we just going to have Mahomes do the same thing Brady did for the next decade? Or, is Lamar going to figure it out?
Chomping at my heart as a Raider fan right now.
Yeah, Mahomes.
First, we get the tuck rule, and then what happens? Patriots just do their thing. And now you're telling me you think Mahomes is going to be the next Tom Brady?
I don't know about the next
Am I going to be able to breathe in the next decade?
I
haven't had a breath in 12 years.
You saw Brady, they clearly fell off a little bit this season, but, that playoff defeat was telling about Rodgers as well. Rodgers didn't look like he was capable of leading a comeback, and that Packers team probably isn't. They're missing receivers, they're opportunistic defense that had the cool Smith and Smith story on the defensive line.
Sure.
But clearly they were overmatched. They got wrecked by the Niners twice this season. Absolutely dominated.
You would think they would have learned that the first time.
Yeah.
But back to the Chiefs, man. What about their defensive makeover? I have to say, at the beginning of the season, you're not looking at that, but all of a sudden, you're not looking at them as a contender. But then Tyrann Mathieu
and Frank
just
Clark
becomes a complete difference maker, I think.
There's so many clips of Tyrann Mathieu covering so many acres of space on one individual play, and all these great safeties for the Chiefs, and they had Eric Berry beforehand, and they just have ballers. And forget Marcus Peters started with the Chiefs his rookie year. He was defensive rookie of the year with all those crazy interceptions and pick sixes. He just gets pick sixes, and they don't have him anymore, but they still have an opportunistic defense that's going to get the ball back into Mahomes' hands.
And they can stop the running game too. They held Derrick Henry to 69 yards.
That's true. Frank Clark, really backed up his talk by saying that Henry was not actually that hard to tackle. They do have a different problem to tackle in the Niners' running game. Mostert obviously just ran for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, and
that could be a good prop bet. We'll talk about that later, though.
Ooh, there we go. We're going to be bringing in a podcast sports gambling expert, Aaron Stiefel, aka Lastief, to talk gambling with us in a little while here. But one other thought. What about the Titans? That was a fun story.
That was great.
But what are they doing? They have Tannehill and they have Derrick Henry, and they got to pay people. How do they not pay both of them? They have to.
They have to. Maybe they can kind of hang on to Tannehill the way the Cowboys kind of hung on to Prescott for another year and see what kind of develops. I think they need some. I think they need a little bit of help.
Tannehill's unrestricted.
Is he?
I think they have to sign him to a deal or something. They have to either extend him or franchise him or something.
Can they franchise him? Because if they could, I would.
Yeah, maybe they do give him another 1 year prove, if not a franchise,
Just for a year.
1 year prove it deal just to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't throw for that many yards in the playoffs, but he definitely led the team down the stretch into that run. So I don't see how they can't bring back.
We can also talk about that a little bit later with whether or not you really want to re-sign him. What if they had an opportunity to get Tom Brady? Would you re-sign Ryan Tannehill, or would you go with Tom Brady? Because if you saw Tom Brady in that offense, that could look pretty nice.
Run-heavy offense with some playmakers to make things happen. AJ Brown looks awesome.
Isn't that great for a guy who's 43?
Yeah,
rely on the run.
Definitely not wrong. He did move. He sold his place, so he's probably thinking about moving. So that
could be.
We'll see how that happens there.
Want to do a quick Super Bowl prediction?
Yes.
Right before we get out of here. So I'm gonna go Niners.
Oh, on record, opposition.
On record.
That's awesome. Chiefs are currently favored, I think, but
yes.
And we'll talk about that shortly. But I even as great as the Niners are, I don't see anybody stopping Mahomes. People talk about the Niners' defensive line as being able to rush for and drop back in coverage, and that's what the Chargers do well against Mahomes. And by having the same thing with D Ford and Nick Bosa, they're going to be able to do the same thing and contain him somewhat. But I just don't. You can't contain him that long. Eventually, Tyreek Hill is going to break through. Eventually, Damian Williams is going to take one of those dumbass screens and just go 70 yards or some shit. Or when everyone's bottled up, Patrick Mahomes will take some Superman, never before seen touchdown run with 5 seconds left before the half to surge the Chiefs in front. And someone, and we didn't even mention Travis Kelce. So someone is going.
They have the weapons to.
Someone's going to break through. They have weapons that the Niners don't have, but the Niners do have that defense.
This is marketed to be one of a hell of a game. I think.
I will be rooting for whatever I bet on.
Well, as a Raider fan,
that's it.
You know the rest. So we're going to take a little 10-second break though, with a quick word from tonight's sponsor.
Today's podcast has been loosely brought to you by Remember When. Remember when Rashad Mendenhall humped Ben Roethlisberger's leg?
Remember When. Thanks for sponsoring tonight's episode.
And if you want to sponsor our show, shoot us a line, sportsdenradio@gmail.com.
And again, you can also follow us on social media at SportsDenRadio on Twitter. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook. We are going to switch gears. One thing we do want to be doing on this show is bringing on fans from different sports teams. We want to hear from you. If you're interested in you're available to give us some of your thoughts on your football team, we would love to get you on football team, any sport, hockey, baseball, soccer, basketball,
yes.
Any sport. We're definitely not only doing football. So any sport.
This is your platform.
We want to hear from the fans. But we are going to start, and we are going to be interviewing our Niner fan, our in-house resident Niner fan, producer Matt Warren. So we're going to welcome Matt back into the
What's up, Matt?
What is going on?
Welcome back,
Matt?
Dave.
Welcome.
Let's go.
Long time no talk, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, great to have you back on the show, Matt.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Oh, so 49ers fan, all the way through?
Born and raised, I'm from the great city of Los Angeles. My father, God rest his soul, San Francisco native, and there you have it.
So, what was the best 49ers moment that you were part of?
It does involve my dearly departed dad, my best friend. He was laid up in the hospital for a little bit, and then got to hang out at home for his final days, and it was actually during football season, so he and I got to just chat Sundays. I'd have a beer, he'd have a morphine, and we'd watch 49ers games together and just chat it up, talk about the old days when he used to go to Candlestick as a kid, the whole 9 yards.
That's awesome. That's really great, man.
Yeah, sports always bringing people together. That's just good stuff. Who's your all-time favorite player as a 49er and your current favorite 49er that you're looking forward to watching in the Super Bowl?
Might be a little bit of a chalk answer, but just from the time that I was in the early to mid 90s, so I'm a Steve Young guy through and through. He might actually be my favorite athlete of all time, even though I'm more of a basketball head than a football or baseball.
Steve Young.
Steve Young had a jersey. You know it goes. And my favorite current player, well, I'm a little biased with Kittle because he was my tight end on my Super Bowl winning fantasy football team.
Oh, just a shout out.
I'm a big fan of Friday, so my man Debo is in the house. And like you said before, how could you not mention Bosa in this conversation? You know, it's a wrecking house.
That was an absolutely excellent Debo reference, by the way. Absolutely outstanding. Great movie. What are you thinking for the Super Bowl? Obviously, you just heard us talking about Mahomes, but you've seen what the Niners defense has done to everybody except Russell Wilson, and Drew Brees. But how do you actually feel about the game objectively? Do you think you guys have a fighting chance, or a better than fighting chance, even better than 50-50? What do you think?
You know, I think it's almost down to a 50-50, and I have to say that objectively. I do take umbrage with something you said. You mentioned Travis Kelce. We don't have the weapons. Well, we have Kittle on the other side. But Mahomes is terrifying. I just think the defense is going to figure it out, and our run game get the job done.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Really a pleasure to have you on the show. That's some great stuff, and man, I'm gonna be rooting for your team at least. I know that now they're on record.
Well, we're on record as saying go.
I'm sorry, Raider fan. I'm part of a little more Raider Nation, so I didn't feel that, but I know Raider fans are
I
not
think
so
the Chiefs
happy.
are going to win. I'm not rooting for them like you are for the Niners, but that's okay.
So we're gonna actually jump into our next segment called Sign, Trade, Cut, and I'm sure you're all familiar with FMK. You know, fuck, marry, kill.
Yep.
So we're gonna do a little bit of our own little version. STC.
Yeah, STC.
Or
sign, trade, cut. Or we can even make it sign, trade, dump. STC or STD. You know what? Actually, we're not going to decide this right now. If you're listening to this podcast and you have an opinion on whether or not we should be STC or STD, and we will definitely do what everyone says. Maybe we'll post it on Twitter, or you can feel free to reach out to us via any of our various platforms and give us your thoughts on STC or STD. We will do what the people want here. As you're familiar with the FMK game, one option is where you want to, just be there for a very short period of time, but you still want to be there. One is marry, where you end up being there long term, and then there's kill, which feels kind of harsh, but we'll call that a breakup instead of kill. But that would be sign, trade, and cut for us. So we have 5 different scenarios here given to us by our producers, where we're going to present 3 options, all of people in a similar field, and say which one we want to sign, which one we want to trade, and which one we want to cut/dump.
Yeah, so our producers gave us our first one here. So we got Winston, Tannehill, and Mariota.
Gross.
Would you want to sign, trade, or cut? And how would you, I guess, take those 3 and put them each in one? Who would you sign? Who would you trade?
And that's already in the right order. Winston makes mistakes spectacularly, but he's the guy you sign. Tannehill has value, so you trade him. And unfortunately, as much as he's just a class act, deuces Mariota. 0.
Yeah, I'm actually going to flip that. See, I think Winston, if you look at his stats last year, 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
So sick.
His name is famous Jameis. I think he's famous for the wrong thing. So I'd rather sign Tannehill. He had a completion percentage of 70%. Great ratio between touchdowns and interceptions, 22-6. And Mariota, yeah, unfortunately, he's just not. He's not there yet.
That's a shameful 1-2 on that draft class. Winston, Mariota. I thought both of them were going to be dope.
This happens so often, also.
All right, category number 2 here: Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Zion Williamson. And we're recording this the day after Zion's debut, where he flashed.
Love that fourth quarter.
Great fourth quarter.
Love that fourth quarter. I love the way Zion played. I thought he came out patient, conservative, allowed the game to come to him.
Them taking him out of the end and not letting him finish was definitely why they lost. They had them on. They had him right there.
I know, but they're looking at it long term, and I think he sees it too. And I think he's just going to get more comfortable, and you saw them out with those 3-pointers, baby. So if I had to sign someone, it's Zion. If I had to trade someone, it's going to be Ingram. And honestly, man, I cannot stand Lonzo. I'd cut him in a heartbeat. I don't want a part of him. He barely even high-fived Zion last night when Zion had a big moment, and Lonzo just kind of wishing it was him. He's not. No.
One thing Sports Den Radio will not stand for, it's Lonzo Ball slander. We are. And we're entitled to have different opinions here. But
commitment to excellence. Raider Nation's commitment to excellence.
Well, Lonzo's not a Raider.
Lonzo is
Fine.
not committed to.
I'm going to agree with you on that though. Zion gets signed, Ingram gets traded. That's much, and Lonzo gets cut, but not because of the reasons you said. Just Ingram and Zion are just dudes. They're definitely going to get done. Ingram is really coming into his own this year, and as a Laker fan, that's actually awesome.
He is playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think he's got value. So you trade him, right? So on to our next one. We got Chris Bryant, Aaron Judge, and Cody Bellinger.
Chris Bryant, Aaron Judge, and Cody Bellinger. Whoa.
That's a tough one.
Bryant's getting cut. So Bryant's getting cut. You sign Aaron Judge, you sign Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger feels like the safe prospect where he's gonna rake. He's a great defender. Crowd loves him. He's a clean guy. Judge has a little flash, a little attitude, a little something extra. But I mean, if you're gonna compare the two, I mean, one of them obviously rakes harder than the other. And I mean, Judge is the perfect guy to market around. I mean, the name Judge. I mean, the Yankees can do so much fun shit like that.
Yankees,
Yeah.
man, they got the right
Court
guys.
is in session. Court is in session.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
so
I have to go with.
It's tough.
You know, I looked at a stack of Cody's numbers last year. His on base percentage is .406. That's unreal. He batted .305, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think I would take him as my sign. Judge might be a little risky for me. He's kind of been in and out a little bit, so I think I trade him, and then Chris Bryant, yeah.
Yeah, Judge feels like
Exactly.
that A-Rod contract from a few years ago, where it's
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking.
10 years, $250 million. It's like, or Pujols, like, it's going to be great early on, but then that's not going to age well whenever he gets signed. But there's definitely arguments to be made for others. Maybe I'm a little homer with Cody Bellinger love there. All right, number 4 here. And we have a list of injured NBA players as to what the options are moving forward for them here. So we have John Wall, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson.
John Wall, yeah, you're cut. That's a no-brainer. I mean, especially between these other two guys.
That's not anything about John Wall. Those are just Durant and Klay are just two of the all-time greats at their respective positions already. I mean, John Wall is an all-star.
But again, like look at it's the
Wall.
other two guys really on the list. Kevin Durant, you know, I'm actually a big fan, but he kind of makes me a little nervous right now. I don't know if I would actually sign him. And if I was thinking long-term, if I was thinking for championship tomorrow, KD. But if I'm thinking a little long-term, I think I would sign Klay Thompson. I would trade Kevin Durant.
Wow.
I know.
Definitely disagree.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, they're assuming everyone comes back from injuries. Okay, I mean Durant's still the guy who's just lethal. That Warriors team, even though they won 73 games without him, they were just a completely different animal when he was over. Like he's clearly.
I'm a big KD
The
fan.
best,
I'm
yeah.
with you. Like I said, if it's tomorrow,
He can just do more than
KD.
Klay can. I mean, he's still even at this point. You gotta think that he's the guy. He's the guy to sign and build around. But and this is actually a great one. This is my favorite one over here. Last one before we bring in Aaron Stiefel, aka Lastief. We're gonna bring him in to discuss some Super Bowl bets and some thoughts on from the gambling side as we get there. Number 5 here. Neo, Shane Falco, and John Wick. 3 outstanding Keanu Reeves characters. Neo from The Matrix, Shane Falco from The Replacements, and John Wick from John Wick 1, John Wick 2, and John Wick 3, and soon to be John Wick 4. And Neo from soon to be Matrix 4. That's going to be wild too.
This is a wild one.
This
because
is
really
definitely the
tough.
hardest one so far, for sure.
I became a massive John Wick fan.
Dude, me too.
I don't know what happened.
Those are so sweet. You see Boban in the last one getting absolutely destroyed?
It was absolutely amazing. Not only that, the knife scene. I don't know if you. No spoilers here.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, was that wild? So would I say that I might have to trade John Wick. Neo is too important to see. You gotta sign him. I'm signing Neo. I'm sorry, Shane. You only got us in the playoffs, so that was it.
No love for Shane Falco. He had heart.
I
Shane
know.
Falco has heart.
He helped them win in that fourth quarter,
man.
but that was about it right there. He was done. He was going fishing after that.
So Neo, Falco, or John Wick. I'm gonna trade Neo. I'm gonna sign John Wick, and I'm also gonna cut Falco. But John Wick, I mean, he's just never gonna lose, right?
He shouldn't.
Neo.
No, listen. When you mess with man,
I'm
when
not
you mess
sure how
around with
Neo's
man's
supposed to be a part
dog.
of Matrix 4, yeah, exactly. Lesson learned from John Wick: do not mess with a man's dog. And that wraps up our sign trade cut session. We want to make sure that we do get your vote. So let us know if you want sign trade cut SDC or sign trade dump STD. that segment has a disease. All right, we're gonna bring in gambling stat.
This is
the
it.
podcast.
The main man.
AKA
Listen, this guy nailed it on the Titans. He got it right all through with his ladder method. He's a mad genius, a la Steve Stiefel, the betting connoisseur. Steve, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Gambler's Christmas. Super Bowl's around the corner. I'm excited.
We are here.
Oh, Steve, talk to me. Give me something good.
Tell me something good.
Alright, so let's start off with the basic, what's going on. I think I heard you guys say, right, the Chiefs are favored by all of 1.5 points.
Oh, nailed that one.
The over-under is 54, a little high, but we've seen the Chiefs pull that off, and the 49ers too have been steamrolling people. And the money lines are pretty much even, so you can get 100 win 105 on the 49ers, and you put 125 down, you can win 100 on the Chiefs. You guys want to discuss this, or can we move on?
Let's move on, baby. Give me the fun
Yeah,
ones.
that's just like a toss-up there right there. Let's get into the good stuff.
Alright, so let's talk about the fact that the win margin for the game, right? This is a 1.5 point spread. These teams are super even. Well, the win margin is either under 9 or over 11. Which side are you guys thinking?
And give us an explanation about the win margin.
Sure. So on points bet, there's something called points betting, and that is if you bet on the, let's say, over 11, for every point that, let's say, the Chiefs or 49ers win by more than 11. So, for example, the Chiefs win by 21, you win 10 times whatever you wager. But if you're wrong and they only win by 1 point, you lose 10 times what you wagered.
Wow, so that's extreme on both sides.
But what's interesting here, right, is if the game's supposed to be a 1.5 point spread, why is the margin of victory set at around 10 points?
Yeah, that does make no sense.
Vegas either knows something.
I saw today that there were people quoting Mike Freeman.
They think it's a
NFL.
blowout?
They think it's going to be a blowout. You saw that?
It's a blowout?
Same people. I mean, like I said, there's going to be people from other sides who think it's the same thing for the Niners as well. But people are definitely saying that they think it could be a Chiefs blowout. So it does make kind of sense there.
Number 2 defense versus number 1 offense. Right, we saw it when the Seahawks faced the Broncos. I don't have the same feeling for this game. It feels more like a different bird game, like the Ravens 49ers, the Eagles Patriots. I see high scoring here.
Yeah, you gotta think so with Mahomes. Even the Niners. Mostert, Coleman, don't forget about Kittle, Debo. I mean, they're loaded on the offensive side too. I'm a little bit shocked here.
So I'm thinking with it's going to really depend on game flow, right? The 49ers in the postseason they've run 76% of their plays have been rushing plays. I don't think that's going to fly against the Chiefs.
Yeah, especially if the Chiefs get ahead.
But to that point, the Chiefs in their last 3 postseason games, where they've been favorites in all 3, have fallen behind in the first quarter by double digits in 2 out of 3 of them.
So you're betting on Niners to take an early lead here?
So I will say, for those who have access to this bet, there's a bet about will the away team, meaning the 49ers, lead after every quarter. And I love it. Do you guys see the movie 21?
Oh, great movie. Wow. Excellent movie.
Spacey.
Well, back in Spacey was
Right.
Yeah. We don't support that movie.
He's back on.
It's not that movie, it's
He's on Disney Plus, I think,
Yeah.
or Netflix or something.
Right. So the whole part, right, the whole thing was, well, would you want to switch doors? And he goes, yeah, thank you for the extra, information. I'll switch doors. Well, I think the 49ers are easily going to be winning that first quarter. That means they just need to be leading the next 3. Thank you for the extra quarter. I'm going to take that plus 340 and make 3.5 on my money.
That is a good bet.
The Mad Stiefel. He's serving it a la Steve. It's hot, spicy.
So with us knowing that this is supposed to be a large margin win, instead of betting, and are we all in agreement that the over 54 is the way to go, or is anyone thinking under?
I think over. People are saying I definitely think over. It may start. I mean, maybe the under first half. And then
You would think
over.
it would be close to that number for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've killed the ladder bet to death. Anyone who needs to figure that out, you can ladder bet this, but just be careful. The 49ers only given up over 30 points one game this season. Just be careful when you're ladder betting. Stick to the 49ers, maybe not the Chiefs. But I would go with the Chiefs or 49ers, whichever team you want to pick, to win by 1 to 13 points in the over 54, because that'll pay you out 4 to 1 on your money.
Yeah, to win by under. Well, if it's 4 to 1, should you not bet the over and both of them? Maybe that's an idea. All right, Steve, hit us with the best prop bets that you've got for this Super Bowl so far. Some fun ones, and not like Travis Kelce gets 30, 100 receiving yards. Hit us with some of the fun ones out there.
All right, so you got to go with the coin toss.
Obviously,
Oh,
tails
yeah.
never fails, baby.
I got a
I
great
agree
fan
with
story
you.
from
It's
that
your
movie.
fault that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna parlay Chiefs winning with tails never fails.
Well, you know what? Crazy enough, DraftKings has the team that wins the coin toss and the game. If it's the Chiefs, it's plus 255, and if it's the 49ers, it's plus 310. So if you win the coin toss, they expect you to lose.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Although I guess getting the ball in the second half is considered an advantage for some reason, but
You know who lost the
not
coin
really.
toss and then won the game? The Patriots when they played the Falcons.
Oh yeah,
They lost the opening coin toss. They won it in overtime.
yeah. They got the coin toss in OT.
Maybe it's not such a good omen.
All right, where's the value on the MVP pick, Steve? Who should we be betting on? Obviously you could bet on, Jimmy G or Patrick Mahomes. That's the easy choice. Where's some value? Someone who could get some serious touches and steal the throne there.
So in the last 10 years, we've had 3 non-quarterback winners. 2 of them were defensive. So I would say go with any defender to win MVP plus 550.
Was that Von Miller and Ray Lewis?
It was Von Miller, and it was from the Seahawks. I'm blanking on the name.
Oh, it was Malcolm Smith.
There you go.
I know, because right after that, the Raiders signed him to a fat deal, and he flamed out.
Like
Vintage.
Brandon Marshall.
Can't wait for Vegas.
But you never know. You might
Any
win
defender to win
Raheem
MVP at
Mostert.
yeah. Raheem Mostert at 9 to 1. Any defender to win MVP 5.5 to 1. Those are both fairly juicy. All right, let's hear one more. What's one more fun bet you got for us?
So one more, I see that there's a first to catch a pass. Deebo Samuel at plus 100 even money, or Tyreek Hill at 133 to win 100. I don't know. I think it's a matter of whoever wins the coin toss. Deebo Samuel has a great chance to catch a pass.
Yeah, they do like to get it to him early.
And the only thing is if they do maybe one of those end around things, that can mess up the bet. But I just feel like they're keeping him involved. Kittle's gonna be blocking. Emmanuel Sanders hasn't really shown up in the playoffs. Who else they throwing it to?
Definitely not wrong there, Steve. Incredible insight as always. After seeing how well you did on the last episode, am fully planning on jumping on the majority of those bets.
I need to warn our fans. If you are new to sports betting, if you're getting into this for the Super Bowl, good for you, but be careful. 2 bets I saw that need to be warned about. 1, tell me the difference between these 2 bets. Exactly 0 interceptions, or neither team to throw the first interception.
Sounds like the same thing.
Same thing, but the first one you're only getting 2 to 1 in your money. The second one you're getting 3 to 1 in your money. So make sure you're looking for the best odds. The other warning:
Vegas.
That's how they get you.
match highest receiving yards. So who's gonna have the most receiving yards? Kelsey, Kittle, Hill, or Samuel? Who you got a feeling there?
Out of those
Kelsey,
3,
George Kittle, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel.
I would go with Hill out of those 3.
Hill or Kelsey?
Well, fun fact here, if you look at the fine print, it says you're betting against any other player in the game. So they're giving you 4 choices, but if Robinson or Watkins go off with the most yards, you lose.
Wow. That's wild. You got to watch out for Vegas. Listen,
So make sure
read
you're
the fine
reading the
print.
full bet, make
Yeah.
sure you understand what you're betting on, and double check all the options because they have repetitive ones, some with better odds than others. And with that, I'm out.
Hey, Steve. A la Steve. Thank you so much for joining the show, man, with some great insight. We got Super Bowl weekend coming up. Prop bets galore. maybe shoot out another one right before, as I know Vegas likes to release their prop bets. They might be releasing it tonight as we're recording. So we might get another video out for you.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we want to now roll over to our fan trivia answer. It's been a little bit, and I have thought about this a little bit. I'm not so sure if I got it. I'm kind of wondering if our producers are in the spirit of things with maybe perhaps a team here. But, hey, producer Matt, why don't you swing us back that question, that fan trivia question?
All right, boys, the question one more time, and listeners as well. What two NFL teams played in the game that would become to known as Bottlegate, in which fans rained down bottles of beer onto the field after a controversial call reversal?
I feel like it was an AFC North situation, like one of those Ravens Steelers or Browns Steelers type games.
You know, my mind just kind of changed. For a second, I was thinking for a second, I don't know why, but I was thinking San Francisco versus Dallas. And now I'm not even there. I think I'm going to go with the Packers against the Seahawks.
I'm definitely going with Ravens Browns. Felt like one of those dirty AFC North rivalry things that would have happened. Let's bring in producer Matt. Hit us the answer. Who are the two teams?
The two teams are the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh man, now you got
What?
1 out of 2 there.
That was so anticlimactic.
The Jaguars.
Browns and the Jags.
They made a
Ugh.
mistake signing Foles this year, I'll tell you that much.
All right, so what? So neither one of us get that point.
I guess
Half point.
you get a half point.
Do it.
Are we doing like around the
Oh.
horn with a 0.5?
Producer just hooked it up with a 0.5.
Oh man, they just made an executive decision there.
All right, so how does that look from a record? Maybe I'm 1.5.
You're,
then.
it's a tie. Should we give you the 1?
Yeah,
the,
I'm 1 0 and 1 now.
1 0 and 1, and I am 0 and 2.
It'll get
You're
better.
probably seeing the scoreboard right above me right now if you're watching the video.
It'll definitely get better for you, I promise. And as long as we have producer Matt here with us, we're going to hit our next segment, formerly known as the Hot Minute. We're going to call it 7 questions or less.
Yeah, this is a shout out to Mike D'Antoni, Steve Nash era, Phoenix Suns.
7 seconds or less offense. And we'll ask no more than 7 questions to Arik and I, rapid fire style. So we bring in producer Matt to ask the first question. Here we go.
All right, rapid fire style, and I want to remind the listeners, if you guys want to chime in with your answers on social media, please do so. Sammy, first question's to you. Will Conor McGregor return to boxing?
At some point, there's no way that someone's going to call him out. He's going to be like, all right, I'm in. Just like last time. Definitely.
All right, Arik. Will Eli Manning become ultimately a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely. 5 years, I think he's eligible,
Yeah.
and I think he's going to get in right then.
I hate people saying he's not.
Yeah.
He definitely is.
2 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah. And like top 10 all time in receptions. He's the Iron Man, one of the Iron Men of the league in most games played, definitely.
All right, Sammy, at 39-6, are the Milwaukee Bucks actually the favorites to win the championship in the NBA?
They are the favorites to win the Eastern Conference Championship. the champion is going to be someone from Los Angeles.
It has to be the West, right?
It's got to be the West, definitely.
All right, Arik, we're going to stick with Halls here. Bonds, Clemens, or Schilling? Any of these guys going to make it in?
Oh man, you know what? And this was, I think we were talking about like on our first podcast, or whether or not baseball, the second podcast, whether or not baseball needs to make a decision here about what is having an edge. We might be living in a time where we're going to see all 3 of them go in. I think
Wow.
Schilling is eligible next year.
Wow.
All right, this one for Sammy. I'm going to get a little close here.
Get personal.
Is it completely clear why we can't wear regular shoes while bowling?
For sure. Have you ever tried wearing regular shoes? I went bowling yesterday, actually. It's so weird you asked that question. They definitely slip if you're wearing regular shoes. You know what? No, there's no problem. Go bowling in
Go
regular
bowling,
shoes.
and
And film it and let us know about it.
Fair enough. Arik, should Ovechkin have to sit 1 game for skipping the NHL All-Star game?
Absolutely not. Ovechkin can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, first of all,
He
he's a champion,
is
one of the best players.
The man. I'll tell you, he is a man. You want to talk about a fan of the people. We try to be fans of the people. Ovechkin is a player of the people.
Ovi was drunk for weeks
He's
after
awesome.
winning the Stanley Cup. All right, last one, Matt. Here we go.
All right, the last one is going to be this. Will Zion Williamson win Rookie of the Year?
Whoa.
Intriguing question. I'll
No.
tell you, I
Ja.
think if he can, I like where you're going, but I'll tell you, if he makes an impact like he did in the fourth quarter, and he's consistent like that, and the Pelicans make the playoffs,
Maybe.
he just might be the most valuable player.
How great is watching Zion
So he'll be
and
Rookie
Ja?
of the Year. He won't be win MVP, but he'll be the most valuable player on that team, so he'll win it.
I definitely think Ja at this point. I mean, he's so flashy, so sick, and he's been playing the whole season. I mean, just Zion missed, what, 6 or
I
7
hope
weeks?
Zion makes it fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that fourth quarter was just electric.
Hey, that was some great stuff. 7 questions or less. I love it.
And it was exactly 7 that time.
That was beautiful.
So it's just 7 questions.
Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. This has been our second show here. SDR, Sports Den Radio.
Feels like we're wrapping it up. That's sad.
I know. It kind of went pretty quick then.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
I guess so. As always, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you get podcasts. And with our last segment here, our buzzer beater, Sammy's going to come here with his final shot here. Sammy?
Yeah,
What do you got for us?
We're gonna bring in a buzzer beater here. We did a final thought in our first episode. We're gonna officially rededicate this segment as the buzzer beater. Sneaking in
I like
one
it.
final thought here, and I really want to take this quick minute here to say how appreciative I am as a sports fan to have been able to watch the careers of both Kobe Bryant and LeBron Jordan. LeBron James. Kobe Bryant. Yeah, oh my God. 15 minutes in. Here we go. Kobe Bryant and LeBron James.
Jordan
As we know, LeBron is currently just under 50 points away from passing Kobe for third most all time in NBA history. And when Kobe went all the way up to third and passed Mike initially, that was just an insane special moment for all of us. And now we're seeing someone else who has already passed Jordan, about to pass Kobe, with still plenty left in the tank. I mean, if you assume he passes Kobe and gets closer to Karl Malone in second place there, he for sure is going to pass Karl in the next year, which means the only person above him is Kareem. And LeBron currently is like 5,000 points behind Kareem. That's not crazy for 2.5 seasons. LeBron could end up as the #1 player. And we'll have seen both of these incredible scorers in back-to-back generations, and it's just an insane blessing. I mean, Jordan was the one before, but our generation, the new one, has been able to see LeBron and Kobe both do this, and to watch LeBron do it in a Lakers jersey is actually pretty cool, and it's just a cool thing to step back and look at what an incredible thing we've witnessed. And as a Raider fan, I keep saying, I mean, I've hated on Tom Brady his entire career, but sometimes you just gotta step back and just appreciate greatness. I mean, 6 Super Bowls, is undeniable. We see undeniable greatness with Kobe and LeBron, no matter how you feel about their comparison to Jordan. And to have watched them both have the careers they've had back to back, so close to each other, is just an amazing thing to have had as a sports fan. That's my buzzer beater. Barely beat the buzzer, but there we are. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 2 of Sports Den Radio, SDR, LFG. Good luck with the Super Bowl, Chiefs Niners fans. Good luck, everyone, and we'll be joining you after the Super Bowl.
Stay safe out there.
For episode 3, spitting some more fire content at you.
SDR.
SDR, LFG. Have a great week, everybody. Chat with you soon.